I just jumped right into it. I was a crack addict, alcoholic, drug abuser, and I couldn't see my way out. Didn't think I would ever be able to get out. Well, I came down to Atlanta, and when I first got down to Atlanta, I was doing the same stuff that I was doing up there. So you can take and make geographical changes, but you take you wherever you go. So since you take you wherever you go, if you don't change your mind, then you won't change anything. So it took me about 6 months. I went to rehab 6 times in 6 months. And finally, after the last time, during that 6 month, I finally got myself together and I picked up a book one day. I was selling computers. Let me go there first. I was selling computers to the government, and I was working for this small businesswoman, and I picked up this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I read the book by Robert Kiyosaki. The information in the book was just amazing, and it was telling you if you wanted to be rich, then you had to either own a business or have a business where people were working for you, which is a real business, or you had to invest in the stock market, and actually you would have to really, in order to really work with the stock market, you really had some inside trading. I didn't want to do any of that. Real estate was my thing. There was this old guy named Carlton Sheets. He used to be on TV all the time, long time ago. You could buy houses, this and that. So finally, one of his infomercials I picked up a Carlton Sheets package, and I just dug in. And that's how I started into real estate. So I was coming out of drug rehab, and I wanted to help other people who were coming out of drug rehab because they actually needed a place to stay when they got out of rehab. So actually what happened was I was buying a building that I could put people in from drug rehab. Well, the people who worked in the drug rehab had also been in rehab with me. And to kind of say it, they was hating a little bit. They didn't want to give me any clients to come into my place. So I just started renting my place by myself to different people who needed rooms, people who couldn't afford apartments, but they could afford a room. So that's how I first started. And next thing you know, this thing just took off, and what my strategy was at that time, I was like, well, you know what? If I could make at least $2,000 a month profit from each property, and I get like 20 properties, then I'm making $40,000 a month. And so that's what I set out to do. I ended up with about 15 properties, and I think I was making somewhere around $20,000 a month, because I found out that not all properties actually worked, meaning that properties that were like 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 3-bedroom bath, they didn't kind of work for the niche that I had. So anyway, I can get into that later, but that's how I got started.
Okay, so this is around the year 2000 about that you bought your first property?
Absolutely, yep, 2000, yes.
I'm just curious. So you got out of drug rehab, you're living in Atlanta, and how were you able to buy a property? Usually you wouldn't think of, being a qualified property owner. So I'm just curious how you were able to acquire that first property.
Okay. So while I was working, selling computers to the government, I was making money. I was making $100,000 a year.